When we think of ancient Italy, our minds instantly go to one place, Rome. We picture the Colosseum, the legions, the emperors in their purple robes. We're taught that Rome built the foundations of Western civilization from scratch, which is mostly true. But that is also a massive historical omission. Long before Rome was anything more than a muddy collection of huts on a swampy hillside, a dazzling, ultra-advanced superpower ruled the Italian peninsula. They were masters of engineering, pioneers of seafaring trade, an empire so wealthy and structurally sophisticated that they literally taught Rome how to be Rome. They were the Etruscans. For centuries, the Etruscans were treated as a historical ghost story, but modern archaeology has spent decades digging up the truth, from subterranean city necropolis to sunken trading vessels filled with gold. The earth finally is speaking. Today we're going to go to peel back layers of Roman propaganda to uncover the lost, secret masters of ancient Mediterranean. To understand Etruscans, we first have to tackle a mystery that drove ancient historians absolutely crazy. Who were they and where did they come from? The ancient Greeks were totally baffled by them. The famous historian Herodotus claimed the Etruscans were refugees from Lydia in modern-day Turkey who fled a catastrophic famine by sailing across the sea to Italy. On the flip side, another Greek historian, Dionysius, argued that they were completely indigenous to Italy, an ancient rare race that had always been there. For over 2000 years, this debate was deadlocked, but recently, geneticists stepped into the ring. Scientists extracted the sequenced DNA from Etruscan skeletons dating back to 800 BC. The results completely shattered the Eastern migration theory. The genetics proved that Etruscans shared the same exact DNA profile as their neighboring local Italian tribes. They weren't invaders or refugees. They evolved organically from a local, prehistoric Italian culture known as Villonoans. But if they were genetically identical to their neighbors, why did they seem so widely different? Their language wasn't Latin or Indo-European. It was an isolated, unique tongue that sounded like nothing else in the Western world. And while the tribes around them were living in a simple agrarian lives, the Etruscans suddenly exploded into a sophisticated 12-city confederation known as Etruscan League. They looked like an advanced civilization dropped into a landscape of prehistoric villages, and their sudden rise to power came down to one thing: they sat on an absolute gold mine of metal. The secret to Etruscan supremacy was geology. The hills of Tuscany and nearby islands of Elba contained the richest deposits of copper, iron, and silver in the entire Mediterranean. While the other cultures were still struggling with the basic metallurgy, Etruscans turned it into a massive assembly line industry. They built industrial powerhouse cities like Populonia right on the coast. It was Pittsburgh of the ancient world. Day and night, massive furnaces roared, cementing tons of iron and bronze. This mineral wealth made them undisputed trade tycoons of the sea. Their merchant fleets traded metals with Phoenicians, Carthaginians, and Greeks. In return, luxury goods from Egypt, Greece, and Near East flooded into Etruria. They didn't just hoard wealth, they possessed a level of artistic and technical mastery that shocked the Greeks. The Etruscans perfected a jewelry technique called granulation. They would take solid gold and create balls of gold dust so microscopic hundreds of them could fit into a single millimeter, and they soldered them into the jewelry to create flawless patterns. Modern jewelers struggled for centuries to replicate how Etruscan smiths did this without melting the main piece of jewelry. They were technical geniuses, and their advanced society allowed for a lifestyle that Romans and Greeks only caught up very far into the future. If you want to know what truly set Etruscan civilization apart, you have to look at how they treated women. To the ancient Greeks and Romans, Etruscan society was an absolute scandalous outrage. In the Athens and Rome, upper-class women were essentially a property. They were locked indoors, forbidden from attending public banquets, barred from politics, and could not even own property or keep their own family names. Etruscan women didn't just attend grand public banquets, they reclined on a prime couches next to their husbands as total social equals. They drank wine freely, attended sporting events, and they were highly educated. Even more shocking to Roman historians, Etruscan women retained their own family names after marriage, owned property independently, and passed their lineages down to their children. Greek and Roman writers like Theophilus launched a massive smear campaigns against them, claiming Etruscan women were dangerously loose, lacked morals. But the truth was far simpler. Etruscan women enjoyed a level of freedom, respect, and institutional power that would not be seen again in Europe for nearly 2000 years. But the ultimate twist in the Etruscan story is the relationship with Rome. Rome's foundation myth tells a story of proud Latin kings, which they definitely were, but archaeology paints a little bit of a different picture. In the 6th century BC, Etruscans literally conquered Rome and took over it. For over a century, Rome was ruled by an Etruscan dynasty known as Tarquins. Before Etruscans arrived, Rome was a small village built around disease-ridden swamps. The Etruscans changed everything. They used their advanced hydraulic engineering to build Cloaca Maxima, the great sewer, which drained the marshes and allowed Romans to build the Roman Forum. They built a massive temple of Jupiter on Capitoline Hill. They taught Romans how to wear the toga, introduced the concept of triumph parade for the victorious generals, and even created the fasces, the bundle of rods and axes that became ultimate symbol of Roman political authority. Even the iconic Roman gladiatorial games did not start in Rome. They evolved from Etruscan funeral games, where blood was spilled in the honor of dead noblemen. In the end, Rome took huge inspiration from the Etruscan rulers over the history that it was ruled by. Eventually, the Romans rebelled. In 509, they overthrew their last Etruscan king named Tarquinius. They swore never to be ruled by kings again, founding the Roman Republic. Over the next 3 centuries, hyper-militarized Romans systematically attacked, conquered, and absorbed Etruscan cities one by one. By the 1st century BC, Etruscans' civilization was officially gone, completely swallowed and absorbed by Roman machine. But history is a stubborn thing. You can try to erase a culture, but their foundations remain. Every time we look at Roman architecture, talk about Roman triumph, admire the rolling vineyards of Tuscany, we are looking at the living ghost of Etruria. The Etruscans aren't truly lost, they're hidden in a plain sight, woven into the very fabric of the Western world. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you want to keep exploring the hidden truths behind history's greatest lost empires, please make sure to smash the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment below telling us which forgotten civilization we should uncover next. This was a Comfort History, and we'll see you in the next Chronicle.